Hi there, welcome back. This is a C programming tutorial. This tutorial is actually a kind of continuation from the previous tutorial. If you haven't watched the previous tutorial, I would recommend that you watch it first. You can find the link on the screen right now. Also, you will find another link on the screen which basically takes you to all the tutorials in this series. Okay, so let's get started. So we were actually looking at how to output the values of a variable, and what we did was basically we took three variables here and we wrote a little small program which basically all it does is basically adds two numbers. So we assign the value of 4 to x, and we first declared three variables x, y, z. Then we assign value of 4 to x, value of 3 to y, and then we add these two numbers and then we printed this message, printf, the sum of, and %d is basically the format specifier for x. So when the computer looks at this, it says, okay, the sum, it prints it as is. Whatever is in quotes, it prints everything as is except something that starts with %sign. So it says the sum of, and then instead of it basically %d, it basically prints the value of x. The %d tells it that, okay, print the value of this variable as a number. Okay, now suppose if we had a character type defined, character C, and if we assign the value to C as A. This is a value of C. As we saw this before, this is a constant A, and we assign this value to this variable C. And since it's not a number, the value, it's a character. The type of C is defined to be as character C. So it can take this kind of value. If I would write something like x equal to b like this is not going to work because x is supposed to hold only numbers. We cannot assign b to x. Anyway, the value b, not the variable b. Okay, there is no such variable b over here anyway. So suppose if we wanted to print the value of c here also, let's write another statement. We say the value of c is, and since it is a character type, we will have to use the character format specifier %c. So we will write %c here. Okay, and then we write the variable name that we want to be printed here. So we do this c. Okay, and let's look at the output here. So look at this. So it says the sum of %d, the value of x, which is 4 right here, of 4, and the value of next variable, which is y, 3, is 7, which is the value of z. Then it says the value of c is %c. So it substitute %c with the value of c, which is a. So it displayed a. Now notice here that both of the output are on the same line, and that's because the C compiler, this printf statement, it doesn't actually brings the output to the next line. It doesn't bring the cursor to the next line. It basically just leaves it. It just keeps on printing it in the same way, one after the other, unless you tell it to do so. So you have to tell every single thing in a computer program, even to bring the cursor to the next line. So how do you tell that? There is this thing, \n. Now these are called escape sequences. Again, just like computer does not print %d as is, it doesn't print %d, it doesn't say the sum of %d. It basically, what %sign tells it that, okay, substitute the value of this variable in its place. Backslash n, basically it doesn't print backslash n as is. What it does is it tells the compiler or the computer to basically go to the next line. So when it goes to the next line, it basically starts printing the next message on the next line. So it's always a good idea to end your output with a backslash n, unless you want the next message to be printed on the same line. Okay, so let's see how it looks like now. So we compile it and we are running it again. Now see how these two outputs are now on two different lines. So this is how you do the character output. Now the cool thing about characters is basically you can treat them as numbers as well. So C was defined as character. You could basically print it as an integer, and in order to print it as integer you will have to say %d. Let's see what it does. Look at that. So our output now is, it says the value of C is also 97. So is also %d. It says treat this as a number, and then it says %d. Now if you have taken if you watched one of my other previous videos on binary number systems, I told you before in that tutorial, I told you that basically computer stores everything in numbers. That's all it understands. That's why a binary number system is so important, because it stores everything in numbers, and not only numbers, in the form of binary numbers. You know, so this A actually is stored inside the computer's memory as number 97. And when we print it, we ask it to print it as a character. It basically takes that 97 and changes it into the character A, because the code for character A is 97. But when we tell it to treat it as number, then it prints it as is. It prints the value of A. By the way, that is called ASCII code of A. So all the letters A, B, C, D, capital A, small a, and all these letters that you come across, and even question mark and all these things which are not numbers, they have a number assigned to them, and that's called an ASCII, ASCII. And it's like American Standard Code for Information Interchange or something like that. And that basically, that code actually is how it represents that character in the memory, because it cannot write A in the memory, because there's the only thing it can write in the memory is numbers, ones and zeros, the binary numbers. So this basically concludes the how to basically outputs the value of variables on the screen. In the next lecture, we are going to learn how to input the values. Here you can see we have hard-coded, we just specified that x is equal to 4, y is equal to 3. What if we want the user to basically enter these values, and then we basically add those two numbers? So stay tuned, keep watching the videos. Thank you so much.